Britney Spears is finally sharing details on her highly anticipated memoir. On Tuesday, the Hold Me Closer singer announced that the title for her forthcoming book is The Woman in Me. She shared the news on Instagram with a video that teased, "It's coming. My story on my terms at last." According to a press release, the memoir is, quote, "a brave and astonishingly moving story about freedom, fame, motherhood, survival, faith, and hope." The release read in part, "In June 2021, the whole world was listening as Britney Spears spoke in open court. The impact of sharing her voice, her truth, was undeniable and changed the course of her life and the lives of countless others. The Woman in Me reveals for the first time her incredible journey and the strength at the core of one of the greatest performers in pop music history. With remarkable candor and humor, Spears' groundbreaking memoir illuminates the enduring power of music and love, and the importance of a woman telling her own story on her own terms." Fans won't have to wait too long to read Britney's story. The Woman in Me will be published on October 24th and is already available for pre-order. News first broke back in February of last year that the music superstar had landed a multi-million-dollar book deal for her memoir. That April, she reflected on the writing process in a since-deleted Instagram post, sharing in part, "Well, I'm writing a book at the moment, and as it's actually healing and therapeutic, it's also hard bringing up past events in my life. I've never been able to express openly." News of Britney's book deal came just months after the end of her 13-year-long conservatorship, a legal arrangement she spoke publicly against and battled in the public eye in 2021. The pop star is not the only Spears to have recently written a memoir. Her younger sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, released her own book called Things I Should Have Said last January. At the time, the Sweet Magnolia star spoke to Access Hollywood about writing the book and why she felt it was the right time to share her story.
In the book, you talk about how you finally felt free to share your story, and I'm curious what freed you?
I think that, like you said, this story is my story for over the past 30 years, but I've been writing it for quite some time, and I found it really important, obviously, to use my voice and show that it matters to my daughters, because I never want them to feel afraid to share their truth, whether it's something I don't want to hear or someone else doesn't want to hear. They should feel proud to use their voice no matter the circumstances. So that was really my main driving force was, I can talk the talk, but I need to walk the walk, and I've got to be strong even when it's scary, because I have to, I don't believe there's any better way to do that than to tell my truth and to use my voice.
Mm-hmm. And to be an example of that for your girls.
Exactly.
Right? Were there moments, before we dig into the book, but were there moments where you were like, oh, I don't know if I should share this, or like, what they gonna say when they read this, or I'm definitely writing that down. Were there moments like that for you?
Oh, of course. I think it's one of those things that I can't tell half-truths, because then it's not genuine and it's not authentic. And as much as this is a book that will be shared with the world, this is my personal story, and I'm working on myself, and I'm really trying to grow, and I'm challenging myself to say things that I need to say, even if it makes another person uncomfortable. And I would want that for anyone, not just me. Yeah. But it's a personal growth challenge that I really am trying to do and hold myself accountable to. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there are moments where I was like, I don't know if I can say that, but it's what happened. It's how I felt in that moment. Mm-hmm. And also respecting who I was at 14, respecting who I was at 10 years old, and letting that little girl have a moment to share how she felt, because she never did.
Yeah. Jamie, I'm gonna be honest with you. You talk to me like a person, and even in reading your book, there are patterns and words that you use, phrases that you use. You sound like a person who has been in or is in some therapy. Has that been a part of your self-love, your discovery of yourself?
Yeah, I think that, growing up the way I did, I always was, had this way of always saying what people wanted to hear in order to protect people or to live my life in a way that was beneficial for everyone else. Yeah. So I used to go to therapy and just tell the therapist what she wanted to hear. Really? I was really good at that, and I don't know why I did that, and I don't even know if I realized I was doing that, but I was. So it took a lot of, it really just took...
soul searching.
It took a lot, and finally getting in there and telling someone, look, I'm doing these things that are not healthy, and this is how it really is, and this is how I really feel, was the first time that I said, I think I've been affected by things, and I think that it matters.
Yeah, and I'm trying to unravel some of that damage so that I can be healing.
So that I don't pass on these same patterns to my children.
That part.
Yeah.
And you talk about that. There is a whole section of your book that's called Breaking the Cycle. And when I first started reading it, I was like, this is her effort at correcting some of the things that she saw and thought were normal, or thought were this is how it should be or how it has to be, and now she knows it doesn't have to be. It was in that chapter in particular, it was one of those moments where I thought, had you had conversations with your family about what they might be reading in this book? Had you talked to them about any of the detail that you would go into?
Well, I think that like a lot of them are like obvious things that they know if I'm writing a book about the truth that's going to be there. But
we say, listen, cat's out the bag. Y'all should know.
Yeah, exactly.
What I'm gonna be talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's the truth, and I'm sharing my truth, and I think that the thing that was kind of nice is that I think everyone is in support of healing, and that's more important than hurting feelings. And even if so, I have to use my voice, and that has to matter. So I can't continue to live my life pleasing other people and worried about everyone else. I have to at some point care about myself.